and welcome back to the South Carolina Dixie Boys State Tournament. This is game 2 of the night with the visiting team Hilton Head versus the home team Macbee. And you have me, Harry Perry, and Alex Hunt up here presenting the game to you as we look forward to another great matchup. If you missed the first game, Mohawk defeated Sumter 9-1. So I'm going to kick it over here to Alex, let him give you a little rundown, maybe the opening batting order.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and start with the lineup for Hilton Head. Starting in center field is number 34, Brody Hauser, hitting in the 1 hole. In the 2 hole is shortstop number 0, Cal Middleton. Playing second, hitting third is number 3, Sam Middleton. Getting the start in left field and hitting cleanup is number 42, Hayden Brooks. Designated hitter is going to be number 99, batting in the 5 hole, Tegan Mitchell. Playing first and batting sixth is number 61, Paulie Smith. Behind the dish and batting 7th is going to be number 20, Finian Rooney. Starting in right field and batting 8th is going to be number 24, Stuart Misco. And playing third base, batting 9th, is number 77, J.P. Perky. On the mound today, we have number 17, Phoenix Shapiro. And subs for Hilton Head are going to be number 1, Nick Feltner, number 11, Caden Powers, and number 7, Tyler Britchski. Coaches for Hilton Head are Hiram Rodriguez, Ryan Kelly, and Jacob Perky. Starting on the mound today for Macbee is going to be number 33, Hayden Griggs, and behind the plate is going to be number 3, Aidan Hughes. And that's your battery today. Whenever Macbee comes up to bat, we will run through their lineup a little bit later. And just a quick recap as how both teams got here. Hilton Head took on Andrews in the first round, and then they defeated Beaufort, went on to play against Sumter and won. Had a very exciting game that went into extra innings against Mohawk last night, and now they have found themselves here against Macbee. And Macbee played and lost in the first round to Mohawk, CWC Mohawk, and then went on to defeat Bamberg Barnwell, went on to play Union and won, defeated Andrews, and that's how they have landed themselves here in this semifinal game against Hilton Head Island.
I believe we call that taking the long road, Alex, but battled back. And I know I said it a lot, but shows character, and that's what sport's about. More than just a game, it's about building character and building nice young men and women for the world.
As that pitch is thrown in for a strike, and the first pitch is taken by Brody Hauser to lead things off in the first inning at field number 2 at Oscar Frazier Park. And the 0-1 pitch is high for a ball, and that's going to even the count up to 1 ball and 1 strike.
Now this is something I'm going to talk about. Brody Hauser at the plate's favorite movie is Rocky, and if I haven't made it known, I will make it known again. I am a Philadelphian at heart and love to see when Philly is mentioned every chance I get.
As that pitch crosses high for a ball, and that's going to bring the count to 2 balls and 1 strike.
Now we haven't watched too many of Hilton Head's games besides the game last night with them in the battle of the extra innings that they had with Mohawk. But what I can tell you is coming into this tournament, they were leaned on heavy as the favorites, which I know sometimes you ask, how can you find out favorites coming into a youth baseball game? But a lot of passionate parents, a lot of passionate fans, not even just parents, that will keep you in the loop, and you learn quite a bit.
As that ball is hammered to the left fielder as he picks the ball up, and he's going to throw it in as Brody Hauser is aboard with a leadoff single, and that's going to bring up number 0, Cal Middleton. As there was an interesting play earlier on one of the pitches, it was called a ball, and the catcher appealed to the home plate umpire, who then appealed to the base umpire to see if the batter did indeed check his swing or if he went around to swing, and it was ruled not a swing, so the pitch was called a ball.
don't see that very often.
And the 0-0 pitch is high for ball one, as it looks like our umpire behind the plate might have a pretty tight zone tonight, which means we might see a lot of balls, which will make for a long baseball game.
These are two new umpires.
The runner takes off on a hit and run, line to the first baseman, who makes the stab and steps on first base for the double play. Very well hit ball by Cal Middleton, but right at the first baseman, who had great reactions there to make the play, step on the base for out number 2, the unassisted double play, and that's going to bring up Sam Middleton to the plate.
I believe that those two are brothers. Hitting back-to-back in the lineup seems like kind of a dream if you did have other siblings.
Well, they do have the same last name, Harry, so that it's a good conclusion that you have drawn there.
Little snapshot commentary back there by Daryl Catola, our sharp scorekeeper. An amazing pitch count.
As that is swung on and missed for strike 1. That's going to even the count. 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs here in this 0-0 ball game in the top of the first inning. As that pitch is across for a strike. Looked like Hayden Griggs may have thrown a little off-speed pitch for strike number 2, and that's going to bring the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes as Sam Middleton digs in and looks to keep this half inning going for Hilton Head. Swings on and fouls one back into the fence. Count remains 1-2 as the on-deck batter hustles down there to get that foul ball back to the umpire. And we have turned on the lights here on the field because we have a little bit of overcast skies, and we've already had 2 rain delays today, and that's why we're running a little bit behind schedule. But we are pushing right through it as that pitch is high for a ball, and that's going to even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means. Deuces are wild.
You're going to have to patent that catchphrase at this point during this tournament. Sam Middleton's favorite movie, Father of the Bride.
That pitch is high, and Harry, I can honestly say I've never seen that movie.
I have never seen that movie either, but you know, now I might be a little tempted to watch it. He likes to obviously eat some pizza, and after the Red Sox game, he'll watch Father of the Bride probably the night before the game just to get him in the right mindset. You know, I heard Ray Lewis used to watch the movie Gladiator.
That payoff pitch is grounded up the middle. That's going to get between the pitcher's legs as the shortstop fielded the ball, tried to pass the ball around his back to go from glove to hand, and he may have been better off just not doing that and regularly transferring it from his glove to his hand, and the runner is going to be safe at first with an infield single there. The shortstop was going for the flashy play, and I will tell you, this is not the time to go for flashy. This is the time to go for functional, as we have a 0-0 count now, and a pickoff move to first is not in time as Sam Middleton dives back. Digging into the plate here is the cleanup hitter, Hayden Brooks. Hayden Brooks is looking to keep Hilton Head's inning going here in the 4-hole, as that is low for a ball, and that's going to bring count to 1 ball and no strikes.
Now, Hayden Brooks' favorite sports idol is Jackie Robinson. What people might not know about Jackie Robinson, he was an exceptional athlete outside of baseball.
As that pitch is swung on and missed, and that must be the reason why Hayden Brooks wears the number 42.
That would make sense. And what an idol. I mean, a man that crossed the color barrier in baseball, but as I mentioned, jumped a lot of hoops just to get to there. Actually, at a time, he was an athletic director at a college right after he finished running track for them. An exceptional athlete and also an exceptional human being with some of the adversity he had faced. So, got to give it to Brooks for having such a tremendous role model and idol, especially in the sports world.
That pitch is high. The runner is going to take off, and that throw is in time. Sam Middleton is going to be cut down stealing as McBee is going to come to the plate here in the bottom half of the first inning. We'll be right back on the County Channel.
And welcome back to the bottom of the first inning with McBee up to bat. I'm going to dish the microphone over to Alex. He's going to take it away here, kind of fill us in a little bit on some information.
Leading off the inning here for Macbee is going to be the left fielder, number 27, Hunter Griggs.
Hunter Griggs, we were just informed, has a broken nose, been playing with a broken nose.
As that pitch is outside for a ball.
I myself have broken my nose 10 times. Quite an injury that can kind of derail the way your face looks, but he looks like he's doing pretty well and playing some good baseball.
And that's outside for a ball. That's going to bring the count to 2 balls and no strikes.
I'm being informed Alex broke his 3 times, so if you're in sports, probably going to happen.
That pitch catches the outside part of the plate for a strike. And I'm going to try and run through this lineup here so everyone at home watching and listening will know the batting order. As that pitch is outside for a ball. Batting second and playing shortstop is going to be number 5, J.J. Melton. Playing catcher as that pitch is swung on and lifted in the air the right side. And that's going to fall between the center fielder and the right fielder for a leadoff single by Hunter Griggs.
That broken nose must not be making him play too bad today because he did some pretty good job on the mound and then a pretty good pop-up.
Playing through the pain. That is a different Griggs that is on the mound, though, there, Harry.
Or do you think they're brothers?
That Griggs is playing left field.
Oh, wow. A lot of brothers tonight.
Batting third and catching is going to be number 3, Aidan Hughes, as J.J. Melton is stepping into the plate. And the runner goes. Throw down to second is going to bounce off the shortstop's glove and make its way into center field as Hunter Griggs steals the base on the ball. Batting in the cleanup spot is going to be the pitcher, number 33, Hayden Griggs. Playing center field, batting fifth, is number 7, Colton Wallace. And batting sixth, playing third base, is number 44, Cohen Reed. More after this pitch. And that's in there for a strike. That's going to even the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Batting seventh is going to be the first baseman, number 11, Peyton Brigman. Batting eighth is going to be the right fielder, number 20, Evan Norris. As that is going to be a strike on the outside corner for strike 2. Brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rounding out the lineup in the 9 hole is going to be the second baseman, number 22, Cooper Rawlings.
That's a baseball name there.
That is definitely a baseball name, as the off-speed pitch is outside for a ball. Evens count up 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second base in this 0-0 ball game. Substitutes for Macbee are going to be number 2, Wells Jackson, number 24, Campbell Bird, and number 15, Harlem Maclaurin. As that pitch is low, and that's going to fill the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Coaches for Macbee are going to be Jordan Mendoza, Alex Miller, and Shane Hammonds.
Now, Hilton Head's strong suit in this tournament thus far has been their pitching, and they have been well renowned as having some pretty good pitching yesterday. Now, last night, a tight game, as we have mentioned a multitude of times, versus Mohawk. Hilton Head 2 times found themselves with 2 outs, a man on third, and an error by Mohawk, which allowed them to eventually tie it and then win the game. I have to say,
there's a back pick move to second, no throw. Just trying to keep him honest there. Sorry, Harry, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
You're good. I have to say, as a fan, it was a great game to watch.
As that ball is lifted to the right side, right fielder is going to make the play, catches the ball. He's going to try and make the play at third, but that runner, Hunter Griggs, shows off the speed as he is in safely to third after tagging up on that fly ball.
Now, Macbee is no team to be slept on here. They have battled through the ringer and have come back, so a resurrection of sorts.
Yeah, want to remind you that they're coming out of the loser's bracket, so if Macbee loses this game, they are eliminated, as Aidan Hughes steps up to the plate. He takes a big swing and miss for strike number 1, and that moves the count to no balls and 1 strike, with a runner on third and 1 out. And the curveball is going to catch the outside part of the plate for another strike. And that's going to move the count to no balls and 2 strikes.
Now, the strike zone, as you have mentioned already, Alex, has changed. It's because we have 2 new umpires out there. They really wanted to make sure that they had fresh guys out there because this is going to be a competitive game, as we very well
And
anticipate.
that pitch is going to bounce off the catcher's mitt, and that's going to get past the catcher and score a run for McBee. They are going to start off the scoring tonight as they are on the board with a pass ball. And that is Hunter Griggs coming around to score. Even though he got a late jump from third, he was still able to score, showing off the wheels once again as Aidan Hughes is going to dig back in
Deep
with
backstop.
a 1-2 count. And that is going to be another appeal down to third, and this time it's going to be successful for Hilton Head, as he is going to say, the umpire on the first base path is going to say that he went around, and that's going to be strike 3 for the second out of the inning, and that's going to bring up the cleanup hitter, Hayden Griggs.
He's also been pitching tonight, I believe, as you mentioned to me, as I confused the brothers.
Hayden Griggs is on the mound, and that is outside for a ball. And interesting here for Griggs, if I remember correctly, he was throwing from the right side, but he is hitting from the left side. And that's a great combo as a baseball player.
That'll get you to go far, especially playing at the level at which he has been playing,
Well,
obviously by playing in this tournament.
Harry, I'm going to let you know that's just not true. That is unfactual. He is indeed a southpaw.
Oh, is he?
I was zoned out for that as that ball is lifted high to the left side. Left fielders are going to come on, make the play. And I apologize to Hayden Griggs and his family as I made the mistake. I must have been zoned out for that first half inning, as he is throwing from the left side and hitting from the left side. We'll be right back on the County Channel. Welcome back here to Field 2 as we play this semifinal game of the Dixie Boys State Tournament. Leading off the inning is going to be number 42, Hayden Brooks. If you remember, we had a runner caught stealing. Sam Middleton was caught stealing second. So Hayden Brooks is going to step back in, and he gets a brand new count. It's going to be a 0-0 count despite what the inning was left on, as the lefty Hayden Griggs steps on the mound, and that first pitch is in there for a strike, and the count moves to no balls and 1 strike. That pitch is high for ball 1, and that evens the count to 1 ball and 1 strike.
Now, Hayden Griggs on the mound. His favorite movie is Lethal Weapon.
Hayden Brooks.
Hayden Griggs is pitching. Hayden Griggs is pitching.
Hayden Griggs is pitching. Hayden Brooks is hitting as he grounds the ball to the shortstop, and the throw is there in time for out number 1. There's a lot of Haydens and a couple Aidens, and it is getting real confusing up here in the booth. And I'm going to be honest, this has just been a very long tournament.
Long tournament filled with a lot of great baseball.
Very good baseball, but I have reached a state of delirium that I never thought I would reach in my life.
Well, to touch on that state of delirium, we're actually going to talk about a sport that can cause a lot of delirium right here with Tegan Mitchell's favorite sport that he plays.
Let me guess.
Golf.
I was going to guess slap boxing.
No, it was golf. Now, we actually have a collegiate golfer up here in the box tonight with Daryl Catola.
And that pitch is in there for strike 1.
Daryl Catola's nickname is actually Birdie because he not only lays it on the court, but he is a fly dresser as well. Great scorekeeper.
And that pitch is low for ball 1 as that moves the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. And that pitch is low and in for a ball. That's going to move the count to 2 balls and 1 strike as Hayden Griggs continues his good day on the mound so far for McBee.
Yeah, he finished the first inning with a little bit higher a pitch count that you want to see out of a pitcher with 18. Like I said, you normally want to try to keep it around the 14, 15 is good. And then if you can keep it around 10 to 12, that's a great inning for a youth baseball player.
Any baseball player, that's a good number as that ball is chopped on the left side, and that's going to get through for a 1-out single by Tegan Mitchell. Tegan Mitchell did a great job of choking up on the bat there and poking one into play, and he was able to find a hole on the left side between the shortstop and the third baseman. And with that single, it's going to bring up Paulie Smith.
Paulie Smith in his free time enjoys playing video games and weightlifting. Well, let's see if he can take those plates going up and down and translate it into a bat smashing a home run.
I also hear his friends call him Paulie D, named after the all too familiar DJ from Jersey Shore, as that pitch is across for strike 1.
Well, I mean, that may be true because his favorite artist is actually Post Malone, so I could see him spinning that up on his little setup that they turntables. There it is. I need a little bit of help there. I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew up here, trying to get through this tournament.
As that ball is fouled off and fenced down the right side for strike number 2, and that moves the count to 0 balls and 2 strikes. And for some reason, we are getting some foggy windows up here on the right side of the press box. The left side of the press box windows are crystal clear, and the right side of the press box windows are quite foggy.
It's because we're talking away up here is what's happening.
And that is high for a ball as Paulie Smith checks his swing. And we are talking, and it is a lot of hot air that is coming out, so that might be the effect of the foggy windows.
Now, Paulie Smith, what he wants to be when he grows up is something that a lot of people, even as adults, should want also. He wants to be happy and successful. As
Griggs there throws an absolute beautiful bender for strike 3 to Paulie Smith, and that's going to strike him out for the second out of the inning, and that's going to bring up Finian Rooney. And you're right, we all do want to be happy and successful.
Sometimes happiness is definitely more important than money, and hopefully some of these young people out there begin to realize that. I'm glad a guy like Paulie has realized that already at his young years.
Wise beyond his years, Harry. Wise beyond his years.
That's why you go by Paulie, buddy. It's probably a good time.
As that pitch is high for a ball, that's going to bring the count to 1 ball and no strikes to Finian Rooney. And that's in the dirt, as the catcher does a great job of keeping that ball in front of him. And that's going to bring the count to 2 balls and no strikes, as Tegan Mitchell is aboard first with 2 outs as McBee leads 1-0 in the top of the second inning.
Now, Rooney's dream to be, when he grows up, his dream career
pickoff move to first there as that gets away from the first baseman on a little bit of a wild move. And that's going to advance Teagan over to second. So now Finian Rooney is really in a position to succeed here. If he is able to poke one for a single, then that will most likely be an RBI, as Teagan should be running on contact if he has been coached correctly, which Hiram does a great job of coaching, so I'm sure that Teagan will be running on contact here. As that is swung on and missed for a strike, that's going to bring the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. And Harry, if you would like to finish what you were saying earlier before that pickoff attempt.
So he wants to be a pilot when he grows up, probably inspired from his favorite movie, Top Gun.
And that ball is hit into center field on a line as Teagan was turning around to look at where the ball was landing. He really should have just been putting his head down and running, and he's going to hold up at third on the double by Finian Rooney.
Attaboy Goose.
24, Stuart Briscoe.
Not only has Top Gun probably inspired him to be a pilot, I assume when he starts to have the ability to grow facial hair, he'll probably try to grow a stellar mustache, because that has inspired a lot of young men to grow a mustache.
It is a trending thing for men, is the mustache. And if I could grow any decent facial hair at all, I might have one myself.
Right there in the same boat with you, buddy, but that's okay.
And it looks like we're going to have a pinch runner here for Finian Rooney. I couldn't quite catch the number, but we do have a pinch runner in at second for Finian Rooney as Stuart Briscoe comes up, and I'm being informed that is number 1, Nick Feltner, out on second base to pinch run for Finian Rooney. Stuart Briscoe is going to come up to the plate here.
So Briscoe, once again, riding on the coattails. His favorite movie is Maverick, the new movie out. The sequel to Top Gun. That is the movie that has been inspiring the mustaches. The original Top Gun inspired a lot of shirtless, jean-wearing speech volleyball.
That is high for a ball, and that brings the count to 2 balls and no strikes.
Now, when
It did indeed, and if you were a fan of Val Kilmer, then it also inspired you to get frosted tips.
I did not participate in that.
I did not either. As that pitch is swung on for a strike, that brings count to 2 balls and 1 strike here to Stuart Briscoe with a runner on second and third with 2 outs.
Stuart Briscoe, when he grows up, wants to play baseball for the Tigers, a very specific dream.
I'm thinking he might mean the LSU Tigers there.
Probably the Detroit Tigers.
The best college ever, LSU.
That is debatable.
But you're right. He probably does mean the Detroit Tigers.
Which,
That makes
power
more
to him
sense.
going to the Motor City.
As that is low for ball 3. That's going to bring the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. And you wonder if Coach Rodriguez down at third is going to give him the take sign. I think he's giving him the green light. He made a little box with his hands, and that means you have to look for the pitch in that box. You got to look for something you can really get a hold of. And it looked like that was in the box. But he dribbles that one back to the pitcher, and he's going to field it. Griggs fields it, throws over to first, as Hilton Head scores no runs on 2 hits and leaves 2 runners on. We'll head to the bottom of the second. We'll be right back on the County Channel. Welcome back once again to Field 2, as we have Colton Wallace digging into the plate to start off the home half of the second inning for McBee, as they boast a 1-0 lead over Hilton Head here. And Phoenix Shapiro is going to continue his work on the mound for Hilton Head. And that first pitch is in there at the knees for a strike. And that starts the count. No balls and 1 strike.
Now, Shapiro's favorite movie is actually Pirates of the Caribbean.
And that pitch is outside for a strike.
He likes to go by the nickname Captain Shapiro of the Black Pearl.
That's a great nickname. And that pitch is lined to the right fielder over the first baseman's head as he jumped in an attempt to get that ball and just couldn't quite get it out of reach. And that's 1 runner aboard
Number 44, Cohen Reed.
with a leadoff single from Colton Wallace. Following that single is going to be Cohen Reed, the third baseman tonight for McBee, as we get a new ball put in play, as there is still some water out in the outfield grass from all of the rain that has been falling non-stop this week. This has been the rainiest, most delayed week that I have ever experienced in my entire life.
Baseball is one of the few sports that you can't continue when the field is wet. It creates too much danger for the participants with the ball, the bat. Unlike many other youth sports that people play, you can play through the rain, but baseball is a tough one. We've tried to make it through a couple of games with a little spitting, but when it starts raining hard, we're going to have to call that bad boy.
And that pitch is swung on for a strike, as the first pitch was low. And that's going to even the count. 1 ball and 1 strike with no outs and a runner on first, as Cohen Reed looks to do a job and move the runner over to second base here. And that is swung on and missed, but that's going to bounce off the catcher and get to the backstop for strike number 2, and that's going to bring the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes, as Captain Phoenix Shapiro is looking to minimize damage here in the second inning.
Let's see if he can captain this mound as well as he can captain the boat.
We have a timeout called as the McBee coach talks to Cohen Reed. And if I were that coach, I would imagine that he just told him that he wants him to put the ball in play here, Harry. All he wants is the ball to go in play. It doesn't matter where it goes. Just put the ball in play and move that runner over from second to third. As that pitch is swung on and fouled back. Catcher almost had a great squeeze play there, but unfortunately it bounced right off of his mitt. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I'm actually a little bit surprised by Hilton Head coming out a little flat thus far. They were a very dominant team all through the tournament, so we're going to have to see.
And that pitch is outside for a ball. That evens the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Let's see if they can turn it around, and it only takes 1 play either on the field or at bat to kind of turn the tides, as they say, to steer the ship the right way.
And that pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. And that's going to be the first out of the inning for Phoenix Shapiro, as
Now that is
Peyton
number 11, Hayden Briggs.
Brigman comes to the plate.
Peyton Brigman, that is a great sports name. A lot of great players have donned the name Peyton, Walter Payton, Peyton Manning. Different spellings. Great names.
You are absolutely right there, Harry. And Peyton Brigman is looking to drive in this run for the 322nd RBI of this tournament. Not by him individually, but overall throughout all the games.
That was a great strike right there.
And that pitch is right down the middle for strike 1. The count moves to 0 balls and 1 strike. And that ball is on the ground to the second baseman. He fields it, gonna throw over to first in time for the out. But Peyton Brigman does the job as he moves the runner over from second to third.
Now, it's unfortunate with a great name like Peyton that his favorite athlete
Now that
is Tom Brady, which
Norris.
I know Tom Brady's done a lot of good, but still not a friend in my book.
Here comes the 0-0 pitch, and that is in there for a strike.
Shapiro
and that
feeling
brings
himself.
the count to no balls and 1 strike. If you have an axe to grind, Palmetto Axes has your target. Fun for ages 12 and up. Mention you heard this here and receive 10% off. As that pitch is swung on and missed for strike 2. However, if you do go to Palmetto Axes, you must wear closed-toe shoes in order to throw.
Good thing I'm not a flip-flop guy. Now,
And that is low and outside for ball number 1. And if you would like to go to Palmetto Axes, go ahead and check out their website at palmettoaxes.com. You can find their hours and book a lane. That pitch is swung on for strike 3. And we're going to head to the top half of the 3rd inning on field 2 in this semifinal game on the County Channel.
And welcome back to a tight game, 1-0. McBee leads this game in the semifinals. Now, Hilton Head has not lost a game yet this tournament, and as I have mentioned a multitude of times, has been a stout team from top to bottom. A lot of really good pitchers and a lot of smart, well-coached plays by them. Now, McBee, you got to give it to them. They have a lot of grit, and they fought back, and they are no team to sleep on, as Hilton Head is quickly finding out.
Leading off the inning here for Hilton Head is going to be number 77, J.P. Perky. As that ball is fouled off out of play for strike number 1. As Hayden Griggs continues his dominant night so far on the mound. And that pitch is outside for a ball, as I have now opened me and Harry have both opened a window here because it was getting way too foggy and we couldn't see through our windows.
Probably we were just spitting too much fire out here on these mics.
As that pitch is high for a ball, and that's going to bring the count to 2 balls and 1 strike to Perky.
Now, I like the windows being open because it really lets you hear the game clearly, adds a little bit more to the thrill of it.
And that's fouled back for a strike, and that brings the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. And you do feel much more in the game with it open. You can sometimes hear the umpire calling it. You can kind of hear, every once in a while, you can pick up a few of the things that the players are saying out there. And it makes it much more immersive.
Now, Perky, when he grows up, he wants to be an architect. I'll let you call that.
As the pitch is high for ball 3, that's going to fill the count, as Perky is putting together a good at-bat here to get the count full.
Let's see if he can construct his way out of this full count here.
He's really building a good at-bat.
Oh, that was a good one.
As that is fouled off into the fence, and the count remains full. The count is full, just like the house he would like to build one day.
Not a bad show. One of my wife's favorite shows growing up was Full House.
Great show indeed. That is low for a ball, and that's going to be a leadoff walk for J.P. Perky, and that's going to turn the lineup over and bring up the first baseman, number 44, Brody Hauser.
Brody Hauser, in case you forgot, is a Rocky fan, which is also one of my favorite movies, based out of a great boxer from Philadelphia.
Brody Hauser has also hit a single so far today.
It's good. Eye of the Tiger. It's the thrill of the fight. There we go. Guess what his favorite baseball team is, too?
If his favorite movie is Rocky, then I'm going to guess that his favorite baseball team is the Phillies.
You are correct.
That is unfortunate for Hauser.
Phillies are a great organization with the most well-known mascot on human earth, the Philly Fanatic, which no one can deny.
That pitch is in there for a strike. The Philly Fanatic is quite iconic. As that ball is chopped on the ground to the third baseman, he's going to field it, not even worry about the runner at
They got him.
Going from first to second. He's out at first, and that advances the runner from first to second on the sacrifice ground out by Brody Hauser. And that's going to bring up
number 0,
Cal
Middleton.
That's going to bring up Cal Middleton. And if you remember his last at-bat, he hit a laser beam to the first baseman, who was able to glove it and step on the base for the double play. That helped eliminate any momentum that Hilton Head was building in the first inning. As that pitch is lifted to the left side, that's going to fall in front of the left fielder.
That's what
and
it's going to do.
Score a run.
And a double.
As Middleton makes his way into second base with a RBI single and an advancement on the error by the left fielder. It looked like the ball just kind of rolled underneath his glove. And that's when the coach yells at the left fielder to go ground up. And by ground up, you mean put your glove on the ground, field the ball, and work up from there. As that ball just was able to slip past the left fielder, scored a run, and even the game up 1-1.
So I have confirmed that Sam and Calvin are actually brothers. The only reason that is listed on their bio is they're both Red Sox fans. Which I don't know if you've ever been to Beantown, but I am not a fan of Boston sports.
I am not a huge fan of Boston sports either, but I would absolutely love to visit Fenway Park someday.
Absolutely. I wish I could have been there while David Ortiz were there. Big Papi, a character on the field. A character to the fans, and a great player on the field for a long, long time.
And, might I add, David Ortiz was an absolute menace to the pesky pole.
He was. That man was trying to knock it down.
The pesky pole stood no chance against the menace, against Big Papi. And it looks like we might have a pinch runner in. And I'm not quite sure who it is for Hilton Head. But we do have a pinch runner, I believe, in at second base. No, excuse me. That pitch is high for a ball. The umpire pointed at the home dugout and then into the field, so we might have a defensive substitution. But we were going on and on about whatever we were talking about.
Boston sports.
About Boston sports. And that ball is chopped foul down the first base line. And we were so distracted by bad-mouthing Boston sports that we did not pay attention to what was going on the field.
Now, let's hope that this deep backstop doesn't wreak havoc on this game as it did the game earlier. It actually hit the backstop 6 times and allowed 3 runs to come in the last game for Mohawk.
Yeah, that was a big contribution.
There you go. Power
Excuse
through it.
me. Wow. Let me start that one over. That was a big contribution to Mohawk's 9-1 victory over Sumter. That pitch is low for ball 2 as Sam Middleton works the count to 2 balls and 1 strike.
This large of a backstop, you really need to have a mobile catcher, which a lot of times I have seen in this tournament a lot of catchers that were able to move. Now, we have seen some unique stances from the catcher position, though, especially from Bamberg Barnwell.
And that is high and outside for ball 3. And you're right, you have to be an absolute brick wall back there behind the plate. Stone wall.
Now, actually, for Dixie, you are not allowed to make any contact at any plate. So that's a rule to kind of protect the young kids while they're out there. As many of us know, the big collisions that we see in the MLB sometimes on an exciting throw to home to get them out.
And that's low for ball 4 as the catcher makes a great play. And the runner thought about taking off for third, but he decided to stay put. And that's going to be a walk from Sam Middleton. And that's going to bring up Hayden Brooks, who grounded out to the shortstop earlier. And you're absolutely right. And Dixie does not joke around with that rule of no collisions. Just yesterday, we saw a play on field 3 where a kid slid feet first into first base, and he was ejected from the game.
And that was a hard-fought game by Lauda. Like I said, they were my team favorite. They were my favorite team. I don't know why I can't speak like that sometimes, but favorite team. They had a lot of characters, a lot of great players, and they were just fun to watch. Logan Bird definitely was number 23 on the field, but number 1 in our hearts up here. He was a great ball player.
Do-it-all kind of guy.
Just going to give him a shout-out. He was a vacuum on third base and an absolute rocket behind the plate.
At the plate.
At the plate. I'm sorry. Oh, no, and on the mound.
And on the mound.
Had 6 Ks.
It was like he had a little rocket booster attached to his right shoulder.
Just a
instead of an arm.
Specimen of a player.
As the count is now worked to 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out, 1-1 ball game here in the top of the 3rd inning.
See if Griggs
Hayden
can get
Brooks
back in
at the
his
plate.
Sorry. See if Griggs can get back in his groove here that he started off the game with.
He's going to step off the mound and toe the rubber again. He's going to look in for his sign to the catcher. He likes what he sees, and he's going to come set. The 1-1 delivery. And that's fouled high. Almost hit the light pole there. If that would have hit a light, that had a chance to shatter a light bulb. Thankfully it didn't, because then we would have had glass shards raining down on the fans.
We already had that here in the press box. Earlier this week, a man, not me, probably me, broke a window in the press box, but we had some great maintenance men here that were able to fix that window so we could go on with this tournament and call the right game.
Definitely him. He broke the window.
I did.
1-2 count. That's high and outside. That's going to get away from the catcher there as he had to come out of his crouch to try and catch that one. Just couldn't quite squeeze it. And that's going to move the runner over to 2nd and 3rd here with 1 out. And a 2-2 count to Hayden Brooks. And he's looking to drive both of those runs in if he can find a gap in the outfield. But quite honestly, if I were him and if I were the coach, I would be perfectly happy with the ground ball to the shortstop or second baseman. And that would score the run all the same. And he's not going to do that as he takes strike 3 right down the middle. And that's going to be the 2nd out as Hayden Griggs throws a beautiful fastball for strike 3. And that's going to bring up Tegan Mitchell, who has singled already today in this game. And Hilton Head now looks to him to keep this inning going. And hopefully for Hilton Head jump out to a lead for the first time in this game. And that swung on and missed. It looked like Hayden Griggs pulled the string there with a first pitch changeup.
It's good placement.
Very good placement, Harry Perry.
Now, Tegan Mitchell's favorite sports movie is Happy Gilmore.
365 more days till hockey season, Bob.
It's a great movie. One of my favorite by a tremendous actor, Adam Sandler, who we should appreciate more while we have him here.
And Tegan Mitchell is looking to make the ball go to its home, just like Happy Gilmore. That pitch is high and outside for a ball, and that's going to even the count. 1 ball and 1 strikes. 1 strike. Adam Sandler is...
New York. He is a New York fan, being born in Rhode Island.
In that movie, Happy Gilmore is wearing a Boston Bruins jersey.
He is, but that is acting. And sometimes you have to act to be a Boston sports fan.
You make a good point.
Adam Sandler is my favorite actor and a role model of mine. I know quite a bit about him as I'm being questioned up here by athletic manager Evan Christian, who, as I mentioned, a stud on the mound when he was in college.
And that pitch as well looked like a changeup on the outside part of the plate. Swung on for strike 2. The count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. A runner on 2nd and 3rd for Hilton Head. As we have time called at the plate by Tegan Mitchell.
Now, Tegan Mitchell is actually a Reds fan. So, as you've seen for the Hilton Head team, they have a lot of different favorite baseball teams. That can be explained because the population has grown by 30% down here in Beaufort and Hilton Head. A lot of the reasons a lot of people are moving from up north, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts.
Because it's cold.
Because it's cold. I myself am a fan of cold weather, but
that ball is laced up the middle, and that's going to score 1 run. He's getting held up at third as Tegan Mitchell finds a lot of barrel on that bat, and Hilton Head is going to jump out to a lead, and they are up 2-1 on that RBI single by Tegan Mitchell. Have a day, kid.
Now batting, number 61, Paulie Smith.
And that's going to bring up number 61, Paulie Smith, who so far has struck out today. He looks to turn that around here. And we're going to see if Tegan Mitchell might take off to second base here.
That swing by Tegan not only was a great swing, but also, I believe, swung the momentum to Hilton Head's way.
And that runs inside, and that's going to get past the catcher. And that's going to score another run. Hilton Head takes another run and extends the lead 3-1 on that passed ball.
Probably been the best player in the last 2 games. This deep backstop has been a huge assist giver to a lot of these teams that get up on runs. Mohawk in the first game, and now it appears to be helping out Hilton Head and swings the momentum their way as they take a little bit more stout of a lead.
That ball is hit in the air to left field. Left fielder is going back. He ranges back for a great play. And out number 3, but not before Hilton Head scores 3 runs on 2 hits and 2 runners left on base. We'll see you back here for the bottom of the 3rd on the County Channel.
And welcome back to a great game that we're seeing. The last inning, Hilton Head swung the momentum back their way. We got Cooper Rawlings up for McBee at the plate. And go ahead, Alex.
Are you sure he's at the plate there, Harry?
He's at the plate. I got confused.
Sounds good. That first pitch is fouled off down the right field line. Hit sharply, but foul for strike number 1. As Cooper Rawlings, the second baseman, looks to start his day at the plate. And that's going to be inside for ball 1.
Cooper Rawlings' favorite movie is Space Jam.
The original
one
with Michael Jordan.
A lot better.
And that is outside for ball 1. And honestly, it's not just a lot better. I'm not sure that second movie should have ever been made.
I have to agree with you there. Now, I will say, Michael Jordan did try his hand at baseball for a brief stint at the professional level since not playing since high school. Did not have a great outing, but his sports legend preceded his numbers and was very well welcomed by the Sox.
That pitch is low and inside for ball 3. And that's going to be right down Broadway for strike 2. And I think Cooper Rawlings was taking all the way there. He was looking for a strike. He was looking for ball 4. And that was right down the middle. Count is full. And that's going to be strike 3. And what a comeback in that at-bat by Phoenix Shapiro to strike out Cooper Rawlings.
Hunter Griggs.
And that's going to start the lineup over for Macbee as Hunter Griggs now digs in. And he's looking to follow up his first at-bat from the first inning where he hit a single. He's looking to single again here as that ball is outside and brings the count to 1-0. As I remind you that Hilton Head last half inning took the lead, and they are winning now 3-1 in the bottom half of the third inning as that pitch is across for a strike, and that brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike.
Now, the Griggs does have a brother playing. Oh, fair ball. That's in play. Let's keep going as he's rounding second. Walk up, safe by a mile.
And that ball was hit absolutely as hard as he could on the ground, past the diving first baseman and into right field. And if there weren't dew on the ground out there, that ball may have gotten all the way to the fence. It was hit so hard. As it is, Hayden Griggs follows up his first at-bat of a single with a double in the third. And he is going to have a stand-up double there as J.J. Mellon comes to the plate, who hit a sacrifice fly to the left fielder last at-bat.
Melton. His last name is actually Melton.
And that ball is going to get past the catcher
A deep
as
backstop.
Hunter Griggs advances to third. And I apologize to J.J. Melton and his entire family as I cannot read my own handwriting.
Now, his favorite food is actually red gelatin.
Red Jello. I thought you were going to red beans and rice there at first.
Nope, he likes Jello.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Do you think there's
And that
actually
is in for a
flavors
strike
in Jello?
for 1 ball and 1 strike. And I can tell you that Jello does have flavors. As discreet as they might be, there are different flavors.
My little kids love Jello, but I just can never seem to get around to get it.
And that pitch is high for ball 2, and that brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. I personally am not a big fan of Jello. I don't know about you. If your kids eat it,
They do not, but actually, I have a person that will make you try Jello because she makes a tremendous, I guess, plate of Jello. Uh-oh, got to play at the plate here.
play at the plate. He
Out.
is out. That was a pickoff move to third as Hunter Griggs was trying to steal home, it looked like. And a great backdoor pickoff move to third as the third baseman caught the ball and fired it home as Hunter Griggs took off. And a great catch behind the plate and tag for the second out of the inning. Go ahead and continue what you were saying there, Harry.
Great plate or dish of gelatin made by our longtime rec-aide, Valdez. Very sweet woman, does a lot for us. Kind of a cornerstone of the Parks and Recreation here in
She
Beaufort.
is the gatekeeper.
She is actually our gatekeeper. So if you
We
want,
trust no one else to run the gate except Valdez.
not only does she give you your change back, but she gives you a little bit extra of a smile, brighten your day every time.
That is pitch is fouled off for a strike as that goes on to field 3 for a strike. Valdez never fails to brighten my day.
Nope. Great lady, always consistent and always there. Takes his
And
base.
that's low for ball 4 as J.J. Melton is aboard with a 2-out walk, and that's going to bring up Aidan Hughes, who struck out earlier today, so he's looking to turn that around.
Aidan Hughes had a good game yesterday from what I'm being told from Matt Watts. Played exceptionally well deep in the game to help them win.
And that pitch is across for a strike. And I'd like to take this time to make a shout out to all our other employees that are at our rec centers. They are running the offices there as we are all out of the office here at this tournament. And that is away for a ball. That's going to even the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. And over at Burton Wells, we have Natasha Dorsch holding it down at the front desk.
And Chris holding it down at Buckwalter.
And I know Eridine Edwards always fills in where she's needed over in Burton Wells as well.
We got a
That
great
pitch is
crew,
high
great employees.
for ball 2.
Makes us able to run and do fun stuff like this tournament right here. Let's not forget Michael Sapp down there and Kevin Reynolds, who have been extremely versatile in this tournament, from running merchandise and a stolen base here. Oh, another one.
And he's going to advance all the way to third there as he was stealing second, and the throw was just wide to second base and gets past the shortstop and the second baseman into center field. And J.J. Melton takes advantage of the wide throw and chugs his way all the way to third as the count to Aidan Hughes moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes on that last pitch.
Now, with both those stolen bases, I actually found out some interesting information today about my household, Alex.
What would that be, Harry?
Brittany Perry, who's actually my wife, was actually her high school's master of stealing bases, receiving multiple awards and actually setting the record for stolen bases at her high school.
That is, as they say, muy impresivo.
She's a very good athlete. Probably the best one in the household.
I actually have a friend that played softball at Charleston Southern named Amanda that holds the record for most base hits in a season and holds the record for stolen bases. As that pitch is low for ball 3, and that's going to fill the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs with a runner on third here for McBee as they have something cooking.
Gonna have to steer this ship back the right way. Oh,
and that is swung on at the plate, missed by the catcher. That's going to get all the way to the backstop and score a run on the RBI strikeout from Aidan Hughes.
I actually think that hit off the umpire's mask, if I'm not mistaken.
It very well may have. I think it tipped off of the catcher's glove.
Was that what it was?
And
I heard
then it may have hit the umpire's mask as well.
Now, we actually had an umpire get hit twice by a pitch yesterday in the same left hand. Luckily, he was able to tough it out, but I can't imagine, even though these aren't major league pitchers, they can still bring some heat at the plate. Whew.
And Hayden Griggs swings at that pitch and misses as the catcher overthrows the pitcher. And there is some hollering in the stands at the catcher.
I will tell
telling
you,
him to tighten it up.
I will tell you, Hilton Head seems to have lost their mojo from that brief momentum swing that they had. Let's see if they can just hold on and maybe swing it back their way, but it seems to be going in the way of McBee at this time.
McBee has definitely seized some of it back here in the bottom of the third inning as that runner steals, and throw down to second is in time, but he slides under the tag, and he's going to be safely in at second. The throw was there in plenty of time, it looked like to me, but the shortstop just couldn't get that tag around as the throw was on the left side of the base, and the runner was sliding into the right side, and the shortstop couldn't get the tag there.
It appeared like our blue had great sight of it, so if he says that he was safe, I'm going to go with him.
It did look like he may have slid under that tag. We are very far away from second base, so that is very hard for us to judge. And that is popped up on the infield for out number 3 as McBee cuts the lead to 1. Hilton Head leads 3-2 as we will head into the 4th inning on the County Channel.
And welcome back to a great tight game as Hilton Head leads McBee 3-2. Coming up to bat, Fabian Rooney.
Finian, Rooney, the second baseman, is coming into bat.
He's actually listed as the catcher on his bio, but I'm sure he's a very versatile player. Now, his favorite baseball team is the Pittsburgh Pirates. And there's a good hit.
Lifted into the right center gap, and that's going to drop down for a hit. He's going to round first. He's digging for second as the right fielder picks the ball up, throws it in, and he was getting held up at second there. He had the go sign at first, and Coach Rodriguez changed his mind as Finian Rooney is into second with a leadoff double. His second double of the day and the 35th double of this tournament.
That's what we call cruising right there. That kid was moving like he had rockets shooting out of his cleats.
He absolutely unhitched the wagon there, Harry.
He did. Not
And
like the
now-
Buffalo Bills that circle the wagons.
Now we have Stuart Briscoe up, who last time grounded out to the pitcher, and this time he chops one foul as Coach Rodriguez sticks his hand out and makes the play over in the coach's box on the third base line, and that's going to bring the count to no balls and 2 strikes as Hilton Head leads 3-2 in the top half of the 4th inning with a runner on second base. Stuart Briscoe is looking to make some more magic happen. That pitch is high for a ball, and that brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike, and Hilton Head has shown extreme discipline with these batters, with these pitchers here, and they have not swung at balls that are outside of the zone. But honestly, so has McBee. Both teams have shown great discipline at the plate here today so far, and I must commend the coaching on that, to coach these kids up to not swing at pitches that are not strikes.
And if you can double check for me, did McBee lose their first game? They did, so I'm being told yes by Evan Christian that they did lose their first game to Mohawk.
And that is a cross right down the middle for a strike, and that brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. And yeah, they did lose to Mohawk, who just last night lost to Hilton Head.
Yeah. So, but as I said, we thought that Hilton Head was the favorite to win this tournament, but after watching
That ball is lifted foul.
the resiliency of McBee and the depth of pitching and great play by Rylan Bullis it's no surprise that this is a three-man race right here for the championship.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch, and that's swung on foul down the right field line, as we are using a lot of baseballs here on field 2 today.
Also a lot of quick dry.
We have also used a lot of quick dry. You are not wrong there.
Probably about $2,000 worth of quick dry has gone on this field in the last 2 days alone. I can't imagine what our bill would be if we had to go to Home Depot right now.
But you know what, Harry? That might be the cost, but you can't put a price tag on a game of baseball.
That right there, that's a real line, and I love it.
And that's grounded down the left field line. Fair ball, as that just barely hugs the line. And that's going to plate another run as Stuart Briscoe has an RBI double here to extend Hilton Head's lead to 2 runs. They now lead 4 runs to 2 in the top of the 4th inning, as the coach for McBee is going to call time and go out there and talk to his pitcher, Hayden Griggs.
Looks like he's handing over the ball there, Alex.
Yeah, we're going to have a pitching change, and we'll give you that info when we come back on the County Channel.
Final pitch count for Hayden Griggs, 72. number 27, Hunter Griggs.
Welcome back here to field number 2 as we have a pitching change by McBee. They have now replaced one brother for another brother. Coming in to pitch for Hayden Griggs is going to be Hunter Griggs. So the brother replaces the other on the mound here as Griggs tries to minimize the damage here in the top of the 4th. Hilton Head just extended their lead on an RBI double, a very sharply hit ground ball that the diving third baseman could not come up with, that scored the runner, Finian Rooney, from second. Stuart Briscoe with the RBI double. And we're going to have J.P. Perky stepping into the plate. And what have you seen so far today, Harry, that has impressed you from Hilton Head and impressed you from McBee?
So both teams have played a lot of inspired baseball. I think a lot of them are making some great plays. Now, Hilton Head, I'm just going to go out and say that they have done most of their momentum changes. They've caused most of their momentum changes from being at the plate. It seems like they'll have a couple of iffy plays and then all of a sudden make some great plays when they get up to bat.
Couldn't agree with you more there, Harry. They have created a lot of momentum at the plate. And I think both teams have a lot of emotions, and honestly, I like seeing that even though McBee, that ball comes across as a strike, that pitch comes across as a ball for ball 1. Even though McBee is down in the game right now, they have not looked defeated. They're still sacrificing their bodies, diving for balls, and having good at-bats at the plate.
It really is a good representation of how they've taken on this tournament thus far. Very resilient team. Coming back from losing.
They've had a very long journey so far to get to where they are. And that pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. That evens the count. 1 ball and 1 strike with no outs and a runner on second here in the top of the 4th. J.P. Perky at the plate.
J.P. Perky's favorite baseball team is the New York Yankees.
That ball is grounded to the second baseman and thrown over to first for out number 1. But that does the job and moves the runner over from second to third as Stuart Briscoe now stands on third on that sacrifice ground out to the second baseman. And that's going to bring up the leadoff man, Brody Hauser, who so far has singled and grounded out to the shortstop. And he's looking to extend the lead even farther here for Hilton Head by putting something in play. Doesn't even necessarily need to be a base hit. They have 1 out to play with. As long as he can be productive there, he will do his job. As Hunter Griggs still looks to minimize the damage here, he's going to work from the windup even though there's a runner on third. And that usually means he feels confident that he can throw that guy out at the plate if he decides to try and steal, as that pitch is low for ball 1.
Now, I was talking to the Griggs brothers, and they're actually very humble young men. Each of them said that their brother is the better baseball player of the two of them, which is very rare, especially when you have 2 high-talented, highly skilled boys in
That
the
is
household.
very rare. That is very rare. And that is low for ball 2. And I can tell you that me and my brother would probably never admit that to one another, even though we both had the opportunity to go on and play college baseball.
Now that we're, just me and you here, no fans listening at home, who would you say is the better baseball player out of you and your brother?
I would say that my brother is definitely a better pitcher than I ever was.
Well, you played third base, so that would make sense.
And that is a strike, and that brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. He is a lefty, and he had a chance to go and play college baseball at Mississippi College.
Wow. Big arm.
And he decided not to go there because he was wanting to go to school to be an engineer, and they did not have engineering. And that is lifted in the air very high over the lights as we have 3 players converging on it, and they cannot make the play as that is going to drop in foul territory as Brody Hauser stays alive there and has another opportunity with a 2-2 count.
Now, I will say, we didn't hear anything when that ball was hit, and that's not something that a coach is happy about. He wants to hear one player put his name on that ball, and it avoids silly little opportunities like that could change the game for McBee and swing it back their way.
You're absolutely right. There was not really any communication on that ball, and either the third baseman or the catcher needs to call the other off and really be aggressive to go after that one. But it does not matter there.
Griggs.
As Hunter Griggs throws a tremendous off-speed pitch for strike 3 to retire Hauser. And that's going to bring up Cal Middleton, who so far has lined out to the first baseman and hit an RBI single.
Once again, speaking about brothers, now we actually didn't know that Calvin and Sam were brothers right away. It wasn't listed here on the sheet until I ended up doing a little research and found out they were both Red Sox fans.
And that ball is lifted to the right side, foul, but hit sharply, as Cal Middleton really likes hitting that backside of the field, as he lined out to the first baseman earlier and hit a single, I believe, into the right center gap.
Yep.
He likes to keep his weight back, stay back, and wait for that middle away pitch as he grounds out to the second baseman. I said out before he was out, but it does not matter because the second baseman made the play for the third out of the inning. And we're going to be back on this very late night. This is the County Channel.
And welcome back to, once again, a close game as McBee gets back up on the plate, trying to light the fire, as they say. And I'll let Mr. Alex Hunt take over, kind of fill you in with all the statistics and his baseball knowledge.
Now batting, number 7, Colton Wallace.
And leading off the inning here for McBee is going to be Colton Wallace, as they look to try and seize back some of this momentum that Hilton Head seems to be carrying for the most part, as that ball is inside and brings the count to 1-0.
Colton Wallace says that he wants to be a country music star when he grows up, and with a name like that, I can see it.
And that pitch is outside for a ball. You keep on strumming there, Colton Wallace. And Hilton Head leads this game 4-2 in the bottom half of the fourth inning. And that pitch is high and outside for ball 3. He works the count to 3-0 as he is hitting in the 5-hole here. He's looking for something that he can absolutely clobber here. I would imagine the coach gave him the green light. And that looked like he was taking that pitch. And that's a strike on the outside corner. That brings the count to 3-1 strike.
Shapiro's trying to right his ship and get back to a full count here. And he found a way.
That is almost the exact same spot. Brings the count full as Shapiro is working back into this count.
Oh, captain, my captain.
And that ball is laced into the right center gap. The right fielder comes on, makes the play. He's going to cut the ball off and fire it into second. And that's going to hold him to a single.
Now batting, number 44, Cohen Reed.
As Colton Wallace is now 2 for 2 on the day with 2 singles. And that's going to bring up Colton Reed, who struck out his last at-bat. And he's looking here to find a gap and move that runner over. And if he can find a deep gap, then he will potentially score a run. And that is a strike on the outside corner for strike number 1. Brings count to no balls and 1 strike. And I will say Cohen does a funny thing when he's batting. He kind of pulls his front foot out and swings with an open stance. And that's very tough to hit an outside pitch with that kind of a swing. And that's going to cross the plate for strike number 2. Whenever you have a swing like that, it almost eliminates the outer part of the plate if a ball is hit there, if a ball is pitched there, and you can't really do much with it.
I can't imagine you get much power behind your bat on that far reach.
Not on an outside pitch. That ball is inside and brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. If it's an outside pitch and you're trying to yank it for any reason with that kind of a stance, with the open stance, no, it's not gonna end with very good results. But if you get an inside pitch and you get your hands to it, you can absolutely wallop it. And that's hit on the ground to the shortstop. Shortstop's going to field it, throw to second.
Ooh.
And the second baseman can't handle the throw. And they're going to be safe all around as McBee has something going here in the bottom of the 4th inning, is trailing 4-2. Runner on first and second with no outs.
Still a very tight game. Just 4-2, and we know both these teams can pour it on at any inning at any time. One error, one mistake, or even just a hot hand at bat.
And if you're Hilton Head here, you're just really hoping that that mistake doesn't compound itself. And if you are the McBee coach, you got to see what kind of small ball you can play here. And think about bunting Peyton Brigman. I apologize, as he does not attempt to square around there. Earlier in the game, Brigman grounded out to the second baseman. As we have a timeout called by the Hilton Head coach. He's going to make his way out to the mound and talk to Shapiro, try and calm him down a little bit and help him to find the zone earlier in the count. If you remember these last 2 batters, the first batter, he got behind in the count and came back to fill the count and
Let him hit to a gap.
had
That's how he got
a
to the second.
single to the right side because he was not able to throw the pitches he wanted to throw that late in the count.
Oh, okay. A little bit of strategy, is what you're saying for a pitcher.
Yeah, so whenever you're behind in the count, generally your go-to pitch is a fastball. You can locate that one the best. So it's harder to throw an off-speed pitch and fool the batter with whenever you're behind in the count as a pitcher, as that is high. And that's going to bring the count to 2 balls and no strikes, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. I expect that we're going to see fastballs for the most part for the rest of this at-bat because that's the pitch he has generally been able to locate the best up until this point in the game.
Now, we did see Coach Rodriguez shoot out there. And
That one's fouled back. That was a fastball.
If you've ever met Coach Rodriguez, he is a very nice man. He also has led a lot of Hilton Head's dominant baseball teams as they travel through Dixie Youth, Dixie Juniors, and Dixie Boys.
The count is 2 balls and 1 strike. As that ball is lifted out to center field, the center fielder is coming on, makes the grab, and there's going to be no tag at second, and that'll be the first out of the inning. And that fly out to center field is going to bring up Evan Norris.
Now batting, number 20, Evan Norris.
Evan Norris' favorite sports personality, I like to say, is actually Chuck Norris.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
That is one tough man.
And that is fouled back for strike 1. And Evan Norris is looking to reverse his start to the night from a strikeout, looking to put one in play here. And
Chuck
we have
Norris
Chuck
doesn't
Norris jokes being cracked left and right here in the press box. It is hard to keep our focus here as that ball is fouled off once again back into the fence for strike number 2. And I believe Harry is going to hit us with another Chuck Norris joke here.
I was actually going to steal one from Kevin Reynolds. Chuck Norris doesn't cut his grass, just tells it to stop growing. I didn't hear what you said. You guys started laughing.
And that pitch is fouled off
Then he
once
stopped.
again.
And I was like,
Count remains no balls and 2 strikes. And I am being told that Harry butchered that joke. He doesn't tell it to stop growing. He dares it to grow.
Oh, Sounds a lot better when you say it like that. If I wasn't
After all, it is Chuck Norris.
it is Chuck Norris.
And that is swung on for strike 3, as Shapiro has now gone on to get 2 outs here with a runner on first and second after McBee got a runner on first and second with no one out.
Now batting number 15, Harlem Maclaurin.
And that's going to bring up a pinch hitter for McBee, number 15, Harlem Maclaurin, who we can add to the list of fantastic names that we've heard this week.
I very much enjoy his name, and it's fun to say.
As that ball is fouled back, that looks like it may have gotten a piece of the catcher. And that's going to be an 0-1 count here to Harlem.
Harlem's favorite movie is actually Top Gun. A lot of kids like Top Gun. They really inspire to be a pilot at this point. He actually doesn't want to be a pilot, though. He wants to own his own ice cream truck.
I hope that music doesn't drive him nuts one day.
I hope not. But it sure
As that
brings
pitch
joy
is
to the
high.
hearts of lots of children and adults.
It's hard not to get excited when an ice cream truck comes around. And that is swung on for strike 2. The count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hilton Head leads 4-2 in the bottom of the 4th inning.
So actually, my favorite ice cream, because I'm being asked by Daryl Catola, is actually called a screwball, which is very fitting for baseball.
And that's swung on for strike 3. And we're going to hear the rest of the press box's favorite ice cream truck orders whenever we come back on the county channel.
And welcome back, as Hunter Griggs is still on the mound for McBee. Talking about efficiency a lot earlier with Trey Briscoe from
Middleton.
Mohawk. Hunter actually only had 10 pitches that last inning, which is a stellar job at any level, as Alex would say. Now, Hilton Head is going to try to keep momentum moving their way, try to put their bat on the ball, maybe just try to keep it on the ground, but I'm really not sure strategically what the best move is here. And we'll kick that over to Alex to give us some
And
answers.
that's a ground ball to the shortstop. Fired over to first, and that is wide. First baseman can't quite get it on the stretch, and that ball was thrown, actually reached the dugout. So he is going to be awarded second base there on the throw.
Now batting number 42, Hayden Brooks.
And that's going to bring up number 42, Hayden Brooks, as Sam Middleton reaches on the error by the shortstop. Hayden Brooks so far has grounded out to the shortstop and struck out. And now, as promised, our ice cream truck flavors here. Alec, over in the County Channel van, enjoys pralines and cream.
It's a unique
And
order.
here's the 0-0 pitch, and that is on the outside part of the plate for strike one. Troy, who is also in the County Channel van, likes Rocky Road. Daryl, up in the press box, likes mint chip. Kevin's favorite is vanilla. Evan likes the SpongeBob popsicle.
With the gum for eyes.
As that pitch is high for ball one, evens count 1-1. And my go-to order is an ice cream sandwich.
Oh, the classics.
I just like a plain vanilla ice cream sandwich.
Mine was a screwball.
Harry's, as we remind you, is a screwball. So we thank everyone for participating in that little activity. As that pitch is low and away in the dirt for a ball, and that brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike here to Hayden Brooks, who's trying to turn his day around.
Yeah, go ahead. Has Troy come back? Yeah, he's in the truck back here.
And a 2-1 pitch here. And that's an off-speed pitch right over the heart of the plate for strike 2, and that brings the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now, Hunter, in his first inning on the mound, compared to his brother pitched 18 pitches, which is very good, as we mentioned, but he actually only had 10. So the Griggs family just doing a great job on the mound, and he's trying to bring this back home and get the save, I believe it's called, when you switch pitchers.
Well, you have to have a very specific situation for a save. Right now, you have to have a lead in order to get the save.
Okay.
And you have to face at least the number of batters that it would take for them to come back and win the game in order to be lined up for the save. And that pitch is outside for a ball, and that's going to bring the count to 3 balls and 2 strikes. So say right now we are in the 7th inning and the score would be 4-2 like it is now. And someone from Hilton Head would come into the game, and someone new besides Phoenix would come into the game, and he gets 3 outs. That means he would face 3 batters, and at least 2 of them would have had the chance to tie the game, so he would be in line for the save in that situation, whoever would come in to replace him, and that would be a save situation.
Extremely informational, learning something new every day.
And that ball is lifted in the air. That's going to fall in the right center gap as the right fielder tries to cut the ball off. He picks it up. He's going to throw it in as Hayden Brooks has his first hit of the night with an RBI double.
Calling Hayden over.
Now batting number 99, Tegan Mitchell.
And that's going to bring up Tegan Mitchell, who has hit 2 singles so far today, one of them for an RBI, and one of them was just a plain old single. As Hilton Head now leads 5-2 in the top of the 5th inning. Tegan Mitchell has been in the batter's box for quite a while here as the pitcher gets set on the mound. And that's going to be hit in play. The third baseman fields it. He's going to throw over to first. A rifle over to first to get Tegan out. And that is a 5-3 ground ball to bring up Paulie Smith, who has struck out and flown out to the left fielder earlier tonight.
Now, Paulie Smith is up to bat, and if you guys remember, he's all future life coach with just wanting to be happy and successful when he grows up. And as many of us know, success does not always mean the money in your bank account, but how you feel every night when you lay down to go to bed. So once again, tremendous man, above his years at such a young age for Paulie Smith.
If you ask me, success is measured by the happiness you achieve in life.
There you go. Wise words being spit today on this beautiful channel presented by Beaufort County.
On this beautiful night. As that pitch is inside for a ball with 1 out here in the top of the 5th.
Now, Paulie Smith's favorite movie, as you can imagine, is Field of Dreams. A movie where a man had a dream to watch a great game of baseball, and he built it, and guess what happened? They came, and they played a great game of baseball. Not much money was taken to make that dream happen, but he felt very happy with his decision and was very successful in his quest.
That's absolutely right. And that was the greatest tourist attraction to Iowa that has ever been made.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, they did play an MLB game on that field.
So that pitch is low for ball 3. That's going to bring the count to 3-0. And actually, so that field is just part of a movie set. However, they did build a field in the middle of a cornfield in Iowa. And this past season, they did indeed play a baseball game there. I believe it was between the Cubs and the White Sox, if I am not mistaken. Because I remember Tim Anderson hit an absolute bomb into the cornfield out at that field.
You always got to love when Major League Sports does something that brings you back to your childhood.
That was special.
Brings you back to playing on a field like this, doesn't it, Alex?
Sure does. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. That's high for ball 4, and that's going to put the runner on first and second here with 1 out. And Finian Rooney is going to come up to the plate, and he's looking to extend his tremendous day here as he is 2 for 2 with 2 doubles so far tonight.
Now, when Rooney is not playing baseball or watching Top Gun, his favorite hobby is sleeping. Man is a big sleeper, says if he didn't have to wake up before 12, he wouldn't.
I don't blame him there.
I've always been an early bird.
Bed is a wonderful place. As that ball is lined into the right center gap, and that's going to score at least 1 run as Hayden Brooks comes across the plate to extend the lead to 6-2 as Finian Rooney continues his monstrous day at the plate. And that's going to leave a runner on first and third with 1 out as Stuart Briscoe digs in. So far he has grounded into a out to the pitcher, and he has hit a double past a diving third baseman from McBee.
Stuart Briscoe, I apologize, actually wears the number 24 for his favorite player, Miguel Cabrera. So as a young man, he watched Miguel Cabrera, wants to model his game after that MLB player, and he wears his number to show homage.
And that pitch was right down the middle. I think it looked like Briscoe took that pitch because he knew his runner had a great jump, and he did not want to risk him not being able to reach base safely at second. So he held off on swinging, and that pitch is low for ball 1. That evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. We've got another fun fact. I'm going to deliver that to you after this pitch, where Hunter Griggs is going to work from the windup here with a runner on first and second, and that is going to be across for a strike. The full moon tonight is the closest full supermoon of 2022.
I'm sure Briscoe is going to try to hit the ball and hit the moon at this point since it's so close to the earth.
And that fact is brought to you by our marketing, Jeremy Way. And that ball is grounded back to the pitcher.
Griggs.
But the pitcher does not check his runner at third, and that's going to allow a run to score. If he would have checked his runner at third, he would have known that he was taking off and maybe had a play at the plate there. But instead, he trades the run for an out as he makes a great stab at the ball. That ball was hit quite well, and he stuck his glove out there and snagged it and tossed it over to first for the second out of the inning. But that plates a run, and that brings the score 7-2 as J.P. Perky digs in.
Hunter Griggs has got to try to find his groove again. He came out his first inning, I believe it was in the 4th, and played lights out for the most part. He's got to get back into that groove to try to keep McBee in this game.
And that ball is chopped down the left field line. Foul as the third baseman ranges over and makes a great play in foul territory for strike number 1. As J.P. Perky looks to reach base with his first hit of the night. So far, he has walked and grounded out to the second baseman.
Takes a long pause as he tries to gather from the catcher.
and that is high for ball one. That evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs. Runner on third. Top of the 5th inning, Hilton Head leads.
Hunter Griggs got to get pumped up back again. Maybe he could listen to his favorite artist, Daddy Yankee, and his song, Gasolina. One of my favorites, too.
I am unfamiliar.
Really
That
gets
ball
the
is
people going.
lifted to the right side. Right fielder is going to come on and not make the play as that ball lands in foul territory. And that ball was hit sky high. It almost hit our full supermoon. That was hit so high. I lost sight of it over the lights. But also my eyesight is really failing me tonight because my eyes have been open for so long. So many hours during this week my eyes have been open. And I'd like to take up one of our player here from Hilton Head's favorite hobby of sleeping.
Well, it is tough to live a life without opening your eyes there, Alex, but I'm glad you've decided to keep them open for tonight's game and call a great game thus far. I really got to compliment you on that one there.
That ball is laced foul, and I appreciate that, Harry, and I appreciate you joining me here today because after so many games, I have quickly run out of things to say, and it is much easier to do this with a second person up here in the booth.
Well, as my mom once told me when I was little, shut your mouth. But the good thing about this job is I don't have to.
Teamwork makes the dream work. That ball is put in play to the third baseman. He fields it, fires over to first in time for out number 3. But Hilton Head extends the lead, and they are up 7-2. We'll be back on the County Channel.
And welcome back to a game that has really leaned in favor of Hilton Head as they've taken a pretty commanding lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Looks like we have a pitching change. Number 7 from Hilton Head.
Tyler Britschke is going to enter the game here for Hilton Head. And before I go any further, I am going to make a correction here. The person that enjoys pralines and cream in the County Channel truck is Rob, the man with the great hair. So if you see the man with the great hair walking around, you will recognize him by his hair. He probably has the best hair of anyone here in Oscar Fraser Park. And he enjoys pralines and cream, his favorite go-to at an ice cream truck.
Now, Tyler Briscoe on the mound is
Briscoe,
my apologies, is a pitcher only. He is a Yankees fan, and his favorite movie is Endgame, which is a comedy including quite a Mount Rushmore of comedians about the world ending where they all actually play themselves.
I believe you are thinking of a different Endgame.
Correction, pitching for Hilton Head is 77.
We gotta ask. We might have to ask him.
We have some controversy in the booth here. I believe that he is going to be talking about Avengers Endgame.
See, this is called. That is. It's 50-50 call, Alex. 50-50 call.
We could flip a coin.
We could.
Leading off for McBee.
Digging in here for McBee is going to be number 27, Hunter Griggs.
Hunter Griggs got himself out of a little bit of a bind near the end there, trying to stop the bleeding. Finishes with 33 pitches thus far.
And that pitch is across for a strike, but he looks to continue his good day at the plate so far. He has singled and doubled. If we have a triple and home run, he has a chance for the natural cycle. And that is swung on and missed for strike number 2, and that brings the count to no balls and 2 strikes to Hunter Griggs as Tyler Briscoe tries to find his groove up there on the mound. And that is outside for a ball, and I must apologize. We can't see numbers very well from up here in the booth. That is number 77, J.P. Perky. That is not number 7, Tyler Briscoe. It is J.P. Perky.
Well, at least we got to learn a little bit about Tyler.
And that is fouled off and caught by the catcher for strike 3 and the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up number 5, J.J. Melton. We did learn a little bit about Tyler there, and we still would like to ask him that question about Endgame.
He is younger, so it probably is going to be the Avengers, but once he sees the movie The Endgame, he might think it is quite funny.
It is quite possible. That is swung on and missed for strike 1.
But a little fact about Jacob Perky is he also plays basketball and cross country. Power to you, young man. That is a lot of running that I would never want to do, but I imagine you would probably crush me in a long-distance race.
And that's outside for ball 1. And that moves the count even to 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Hilton Head remains in the lead, 7 runs to 2. And that is outside for ball 2, as J.P. Perky is looking to work his way back into this count. And J.J. Melton is looking to get something started for McBee and keep them alive in this game before Hilton Head takes too much momentum. And that is inside for ball 3. Great take there by Melton. And might I remind you that if Hilton Head wins this game, they will go on to have a matchup game against Mohawk after that thrilling extra inning game last night. And McBee would be eliminated if they lose here. And that
Big
is
swing.
Swung on and missed
Feel the wind up
for
here.
strike 2. And that fills the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And that was a very aggressive hack there, as he was trying to tie the game up with 1 swing. He was trying to hit a 5-run home run. And that hits the outside part of the plate for strike number 3, as J.J. Melton looked like he was expecting an off-speed and was hit with a fastball on the outside part of the plate. And that's going to be 2nd out of the inning, and that brings up Aidan Hughes, number 3, who is also looking to turn around his night after striking out twice so far.
Aidan Hughes in his free time enjoys walking dogs in his neighborhood. He says he likes to help some of the older people out in his neighborhood and take their dogs for a walk. Big fan of pets and canines.
And that is in there for a strike to start the at-bat. No balls and 1 strike here on the delivery from J.P. Perky, and that is strike 2.
That pitch had some zest on it.
He had a little something behind that one. He's throwing the hot, stinky cheddar out there. The 0-2 pitch. Swung on and hit sharply up the middle. That's going to bounce off of Perky's glove. Second baseman picks it up. Fires to first.
Punched him out.
Great play on a tipped ball from the pitcher. Bare hand by the second baseman. Thrown out at first for the 3rd out. And we will be right back on the County Channel.
Pitch count for J.P.
Welcome back here as we are getting back to the action here in the top of the 6th inning. And starting off the inning for Hilton Head is going to be Brody Hauser, who so far has singled, grounded out to the third baseman, and struck out. And he is looking to get something started here for Hilton Head. And that is fouled off into the fence on the right side for strike 1.
Brody Hauser also plays football and basketball, 3-sport athlete. And as you guys know, in last year's NFL draft, out of the 32 total possible picks, 22 of them were multi-sport athletes. As a strike rings in, as I'm telling this fact. Multi-sport athletes in high school, and I believe 2 of them were multi-sport athletes in college. So it's key to be versatile. Try to stay away from year-round playing. Leads to injuries and also could deter your children as they get older.
And that pitch is high for a ball, and that brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. And I forgot to mention, now on the mound for McBee is going to be number 44, Cohen Reed. He has entered the game to pitch for McBee as that is swung on and fouled off, but caught by the catcher. And that's going to be strike 3 as Brody Hauser is retired. And that's going to bring up the shortstop, Cal Middleton, who looks to keep his day going as he has lined out to the first baseman, hit an RBI single, and grounded out to the second baseman. And that pitch is lifted on the right side in foul territory. The catcher is going to go over and cannot quite make the grab. And Cal Middleton may have gotten away with one there, and he will go in for a second life here as he digs back into the plate.
Cal Middleton had to do one up on the man before him. He is a 4-sport athlete. He plays basketball, football, and golf. Golf is a sport that requires a lot of patience and great muscle memory.
And the off-speed pitch is swung on for strike 2. And that brings the count to no balls and 2 strikes as Cohen Reed works way ahead in the count here to Cal Middleton.
And when Cohen Reed grows up, he wants to be an accountant.
And that is swung on and missed for strike 3 to Cal Middleton. And I commend Cohen Reed for wanting to be an accountant there. I have done some accounting before, and let me tell you, it made me want to rip my hair out one follicle at a time.
I don't blame you, but somebody's got to do the job.
And that strikeout is going to bring up Sam Middleton. And that's going to come across for strike 1. And I'm going to ask Harry here how many sports Sam Middleton plays and see if he one-ups Cal or not.
Well, being is that they are brothers, they actually play the same sports, basketball, football, and golf.
And that
and
ball
baseball,
is grounded
obviously.
up the middle, past the pitcher. Second baseman comes on, fields it, throws it to first. Not in time. He is safe at first with an infield single, and that's going to bring up Hayden Brooks, who doubled his last time up to bat after he had grounded out to the shortstop and he has struck out.
Now, Hayden Brooks is a pretty versatile player for Hilton Head. He is a pitcher, a third baseman, a second baseman, and an outfielder.
And that is what we call a utility player.
Oh, yeah, he can do it all.
One man does it all.
Kind of like Batman out there with his belt. Has
Makes-
all the answers and different
Makes you
little
wonder
pockets.
who his Robin is. As that pitch is low in the dirt for a ball, and that brings the count to 1 ball and 0 strikes.
Now, we haven't seen
1 out.
We haven't seen Hayden Brooks pitch yet.
And that is swung on, and that's going to get past the catcher for strike 2, and that'll advance Sam Middleton. No, excuse me.
I think that's
That's
Calvin Middleton.
going to advance Cal Middleton. That is Sam Middleton. I'm having a hard time up here, ladies and gentlemen.
He's having a hard time reading without opening his eyes. As he mentioned, His eyes are very tired. Had him open at this point since he woke up this morning, and it's just been a long day for Alex, but got to commend him on his golden voice.
Real heavy eyelids over here.
After their brief little conversation, looks like the catcher's going to get back behind the plate.
I feel like my mind has drifted along with Evan's, and we are both mentally on a boat in the Bahamas. But I am not on a Disney cruise. And that backdoor slider does not find the zone, and that's going to be ball 2. Brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike to Hayden Brooks.
Hayden Brooks' favorite song is Man on the Moon.
And that ball is put in play, line drive up the middle, and that's going to be an RBI single from Hayden Brooks.
Hilton Head has had some great placement with hitting so far this game, as they have not hit
Sam Middleton comes across to score. As he scored, I saw the number on the back of his jersey. It was number 3. I can confirm that was Sam Middleton. And that brings up Tegan Mitchell to the plate as that pitch is across for strike 1. As we have a runner aboard first with 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Hilton Head leads 8 runs to 2. And that swung on and fouled back into the umpire for strike number 2. And that brings the count to no balls and 2 strikes as Tegan Mitchell tries to go 3 for 4. He tries to go 3 for 4 here after singling twice and grounding out to the third baseman. And that's going to be strike number 3 for out number 3. And again, once again, I was wrong about something. Go figure that one. That's out number 3, not out number 2. We're going to be right back here as I continue to struggle on the county channel. Welcome back here to Field 2 at Oscar Frazier Park. And I'd like to take this time to thank one of our sponsors.
Come have a blast at the Zone, featuring escape rooms, ninja courses, baseball cages with hitch track. It's all new, all in one of a kind family fun for all ages, located at
Strike 1.
Buckwalter Parkway, next to the Cinemark. And I took that over there because Alex was going by too fast on the struggle bus for me to hand it to him.
Thank you for that reminder, as that is strike 1. And second pitch is swung on for strike 2 by Hayden Griggs, who leads off the inning for McBee.
Hayden Griggs actually also enjoys disc golf, not regular golf.
But golf with discs.
Yes.
And I think I'm actually going to head out to Hardyville to the course there and play this weekend.
Okay.
And that is strike 3, swinging from Hayden Griggs. And that's going to bring up Colton Wallace.
Number 7, Colton Wallace.
And we've got a 8-2 ball game here, and that's going to find the outside part of the plate for strike 1. Hilton Head leads in the bottom of the 6th with 1 out, no runners aboard here, as Macbee is looking to get some momentum going. And that swung on and hit hard on the ground right at the third baseman, who can't come up with the play. And that was one of the hardest ground balls I've seen hit this tournament, as that was just a one-hopper. The third baseman didn't even really have time to react. He just stayed right in front of it. He didn't move, wore it off the body, and kept it in front of him. As Cohen Reed now digs in with a runner aboard first, following that infield single by Colton Wallace, who absolutely laced that ball to the third baseman.
I'll even say, even if the third baseman got it, Colton Wallace was moving. He was one of the faster kids I've seen to first base this tournament.
That catches the outside part of the plate for strike 1. You're absolutely right there. He was flying down the first base line. We've got an 0-1 count here to Cohen Reed. That ball is hit on the ground. Third baseman's going to make the play. Scoops, throw to first in time for out number 2. As Cohen Reed is retired and moves the runner over to second in scoring position. And Peyton Brigman is looking to bring him in.
Now batting number 2, Wells Jackson.
It's another great name.
And I'm being informed now that that is a pinch hitter. So Peyton Brigman is going to be pinch hit for by Wells Jackson, number 2. Wells Jackson at the plate. That pitch is outside for a ball, and that brings the count to 1 ball and no strikes. As Wells Jackson tries to get something going here for Macbee. That swung on and fouled back into the fence for a strike, and that's going to even the count. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Jacob Perky's actually been doing very well on the mound since he's been in. He's got a big step when he makes that pitch.
Long stride, very effective. And that's in there for a strike. Looked like an off-speed pitch. Tough to read as a hitter when it's that low in the zone.
Now,
Inside breaking ball.
let me ask you, Alex. I've seen a lot of success from tall pitchers. Is there some type of correlation to the height of the pitcher to the speed of their pitch?
And that's going to be high and inside for a ball. You know, there can be if the mechanics are done properly. Being tall and lanky, kind of like JP Perky is, does have its advantages, as you kind of have a little bit more reach to the plate. But I've seen plenty of small guys throw just as hard. And that's going to be strike 3 on the outside part of the plate. As Hilton Head comes to bat in the top of the 7th, we'll be right back on the County Channel.
And welcome back to a great semifinal championship game. I'm going to let Alex Hunt take over a little bit and communicate all the information that he has with his plethora of knowledge about baseball.
We're moving over here to the 7th inning as Hilton Head is taking on the home team Macbee here in the semifinal game. Stepping to the plate here is going to be Paulie Smith, as the pitcher throws a strike here.
Like to take this time after the game to not just go home, but go stop by Palmetto Axes. Conveniently located just 5 minutes here from Oscar Frazier Park, as that ball is fouled out, probably hit Palmetto Axes. It's that close.
That ball is fouled back for strike 2 as Cohen Reed continues his work on the mound here. He did a great job coming in relief and minimizing the damage there last inning, and that's a beautiful strike 3 at the top of the zone there for the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up Finian Rooney,
Number 20, Finian Rooney.
who is having quite a night at the plate. He has hit 2 doubles and a single here.
Rooney's favorite band or artist is Shakira.
And that is fouled straight back into the fence for strike 1. That's going to bring the count to no balls and 1 strike.
Shakira has been a big pop star for many years, made a lot of fun, upbeat songs. I can imagine why he would like listening to her, because she is fun to listen to.
Well, you know what they say. Shakira, Shakira.
Her hips don't lie.
And that is across for strike 2 as Cohen Reed continues his dominance on the mound and brings the count to no balls and 2 strikes with 1 out, no runners on. Hilton Head still leads 8-2. And that pitch is outside for ball 1, as I believe we have seen that pitch called for a strike earlier today a couple of times. And that was a good spot by the pitcher, but did not get the call. And that's inside. That's going to be dribbled down
buddy.
the third
He's
base
moving.
line.
He's
And that's
moving.
going to be picked up, fired to first, not in time, as that swinging bunt was just placed perfectly right between the third baseman, pitcher, and catcher.
Now batting, number 24.
It also made it difficult as they all 3 converged on it at the same time, and it's hard in that situation to figure out who has the best chance to pick that ball up and fire it to first, because
Great
there are
hustle.
3 such different angles to get that ball. And that's going to bring up Stuart Misko to the plate for Hilton Head Island. And that's right down Broadway for strike 1.
Now, he's a Detroit Tigers fan, which you don't really hear many of them. But every time you meet a Detroit fan, whether it's the Lions or the Tigers or even the Red Wings, they're very passionate people, and they're very about the great city of Detroit and the blue-collar mentality it comes with.
And that's low and away for a ball. And after you saying that, I'm going to be honest, the city of Detroit missed a great opportunity as that ball is hit on the ground to short. He's going to field the ball, step on second himself for the second out of the inning. And it looked like he might have thought there were 3 outs there,
Now batting,
but there was
number
2, and that's going to bring up
77,
the
Perky.
pitcher, J.P. Perky. But you saying those Detroit teams, they missed the golden opportunity to have any sort of team called the Bears, because then they have the Lions, the Tigers, and the Bears.
Oh, my.
And that is swung on and missed for strike 1 as the catcher fires down to first to try and back pick the runner, but he is back in time as he dives back safely. And the count moves to no balls and 1 strike. 2 outs here with a runner on first. Top of the 7th inning. And that pitch is low in the dirt. Great job behind the plate to keep that one in front. That evens the count 1-1.
Jacob Perky's favorite song is "It Was a Good Day" by Ice Cube. He's hoping to have a good day today by allowing Hilton Head to maintain its lead, as McBee's pitcher's doing a phenomenal job of battling back and trying to keep his team in the game. And as I said, they're a very, very resilient team. Very impressed by the way that they've been coached. And hopefully they can battle back and make it a closer game.
And that ball is hit on the left side. Great job by the third baseman to cut that ball off. That is his ball all the way. And he makes the throw to first for out number 3 as Macbee will come to the plate in the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll be right back on the Beaufort County Channel.
And welcome back to the bottom of the 7th inning where McBee is going to try to light a fire and get going. As we've mentioned many times before, the game last night where Hilton Head played Mohawk was a tight game and an exciting game. McBee, who has been very resilient, is going to try to fire back in this game, and I will not be surprised if they do. They're a very great group of ball players, and I'm excited to see what they can do. What do you think, Alex?
Well, that pitch was low and in for a ball to Evan Norris, and I'm going to be honest, I kind of zoned out there on what you were saying because I was trying to figure out who this was at the plate.
That's okay. I was talking about the resiliency of McBee and their continuation to fight their way back.
They have shown great resolve in this tournament, and they have reached this point against all the odds stacked against them, going down early in that first game loss and battling their way through the losers bracket back into this semifinal game.
Kind of the underdog story, a team you want to root for.
Absolutely, and that pitch is across for a strike. That's going to bring the count to 2 balls and 1 strike.
I would be interested. I really wish we had a radar gun here so we could see the speed on some of these pitches because the sound of them hitting the catcher's mitt is pretty impressive.
That would be interesting to know, as that pitch is low and inside for a ball, and that brings the count to 3 balls and 1 strike.
We're going to have to see if we can fit that in the recreational budget for next year.
We can inquire.
That's all you can do is ask.
And that pitch is high for ball 4 as McBee has something going here. Leadoff man is aboard with a walk. And I will remind you, this is the bottom half of the 7th inning. That means this is the last inning to play here unless McBee scores 6 runs. Because Hilton Head is leading 8-2, excuse me. That means that McBee must score at least 6 runs this half inning to keep the game going. And that's a great way to get it started with the leadoff walk. However, that pitch is in the zone for strike 1, and the count goes to no balls and 1 strike here to Cooper Rawlings. And that pitch hits him right on the helmet. And that's one way to use your head, Cooper, as he gets a free pass to first. And he stood in that box and wore it like a champ.
Now batting number 27, Hayden Griggs.
And J.P. Perky is going to have to work himself out of this jam if they want to go on to win this game. And the leadoff man is going to come to the plate in the form of Hayden Griggs with a runner on first and second with nobody out in the 7th inning. And that pitch is high for ball 1. And it looks like J.P. Perky is really kind of struggling to find the zone here, as we're going to have a timeout called by the Hilton head coach. He's going to go out and have a visit with his pitcher.
Probably just going to calm them down, let them know that they have a pretty sizable lead. But I can imagine that he's just going to try to tell them to play smart and watch home plate.
Yeah, that's probably what he's saying here. He's probably telling him that he needs to be able to pitch with a lead. When you're up 8-2, you're really not trying to strike the whole side out. You're trying to get a lot of ground balls, fly balls, just some balls put in play that your defense can make plays on and finish this game up.
Trust in your defense.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it is. And that pitch is in there for a strike, and that's going to bring the count to 1 ball and 1 strike.
Now it sounds like we've had a little bit of thunder out there, but hopefully we can hold our breaths and get through this game and avoid another rain delay.
And that is wide for ball 2, and that moves the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. J.P. Perky is looking to close the door on this game, as that is high and inside for ball 3. And J.P. Perky has really lost some command here.
Just got to find his rhythm again, get in his groove.
He's got to find that groove once more. And it looks like we're seeing a completely different Perky here than we saw last inning, as that ball is lifted to the right side. That's going to fall in foul territory as the home plate umpire calls that ball foul, but everyone is still moving like it's a fair ball. And I can tell you that unfortunately for the McBee fans, that is going to get called back. And
wow.
Hunter Griggs is going to get called back to the plate here, as that ball was called foul.
Now it's a little difficult.
Home plate umpire he was pointing to his right. He was pointing to the right side of that foul line, indicating that it was a foul ball. And we're going to have movement here as the runners go back to their bases. And Griggs comes back to the plate.
It's a little hard for even us to commentate on that one there because there's quite a number of trees in between us and where that ball landed.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was right behind the canopy over the first base bleachers.
Yeah.
So we could not quite see where that ball landed. So we had to solely rely on the judgment of the home plate umpire to make that call.
Now, McBee's fans were not too happy with that call because it was a pretty big momentum swing, in my opinion, for this inning, considering that they're essentially hitting to stay alive.
And that's fouled straight back as Griggs stays alive, and he is putting together a great at-bat here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Hunter Griggs' favorite food is pasta, and his favorite movie is The Sandlot, as that's ball 4, and that's going to load the bases for McBee as they really have something going here for J.J. Melton to come up to the plate.
This is a really great opportunity for J.J. Melton. He's got 3 ducks sitting on the pond, and it's time to bring them home. J.J. Melton's favorite food is steak, and his favorite movie is Facing the Giants. That the football movie?
As a football fan, I would think that you would know that movie.
It is. That's how I learned how to catch the football.
As that ball is lifted to the right side, right fielder comes on and makes the play. The runner does not tag from third as the right fielder fires the ball home for out number 1.
Fans are actually clapping because that was a great baseball player out there. Good catch out there in the outfield, but then his ability to put the ball almost on point to the catcher's chest to stop the advancing runner from third base.
Yeah, good call by the third base coach there to hold the runner up and not tag up, because that was a very shallow fly ball and a very good throw by the right fielder. And that brings up Aidan Hughes, whose favorite food is fettuccine alfredo. As that pitch is in there for a strike. When he grows up, he wants to be an anesthesiologist.
Wow. That is going to be a great career for that young man. A lot of these kids have a lot of big aspiration, a lot of ambition, and you just love to see that.
And that catches the outside part of the plate for strike 2, brings the count to no balls and 2 strikes.
Especially a lot of young men, young gentlemen. Hopefully they go out into this world and change a lot of things with a lot of their impactful jobs to society.
And here comes the 0-2 pitch with the bases loaded here, and that's going to be lifted in the air on the right side. Second baseman comes on. He's called off by the first baseman, who makes the play for out number 2. And that's going to bring up Hayden Griggs.
Now batting number 33, Hayden Griggs.
Now, even though it seems that Aidan is behind the 8 ball, he has a very good opportunity here to possibly bring home 4 runs. Bases are juiced on up. He's at the plate. Let's hope that he can get something going and inspire a tight game.
And that ball is fouled down the left field line, out of play. Hayden Griggs' favorite pro baseball team is the Braves. And he did his best impersonation of his favorite baseball player today with his start on the mound. And that man being Greg Maddux, all-time great Atlanta Brave. And that pitch is lifted in the air to the left side. Third baseman's going to come on, make the play in the air for out number 3. And that's going to be the ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Very well-fought battle. McBee never gave up. And Hilton Head goes on to win the game. And we would like to congratulate McBee on a great season and a great tournament to get to the position that they were in. Hilton Head will be back in action tomorrow at 10 a.m. to take on Mohawk. Thanks for watching, and join us back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. on the County Channel.